Well, you saw the thumbnail, right? Shakur Stevenson, Bivol, and Madrimov all in the news right now. These stories you've heard before, but I just want to get my opinion on it. And before I do, I want to just say thank you for those of you who are helping me out for the first time, and those of you who have returned. All the subscribers, thank you for supporting the small community I'm trying to build here. I took like 2 weeks off, and the algorithm has been very, very terrible to me. So it's a rebuild phase yet again. And also, my house is going to be under some construction for the next 2 days, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to record for the next 2 days, so I want to get my opinion on these three fighters because they all have things coming up. Now, real quick, let's talk about Madrimov, right? So he's under negotiations, it seems, with Bohachuk's team to be put on the pay-per-view on December 21st on the Usyk Tyson Fury 2. And many people think that these two guys haven't lost their last fight. Having taken Crawford, Madrimov did to the wire at 154, and some say he edged them out. I personally think he lost a very narrow decision. So if you thought either way, if the fight could have gone either way, I can't really argue with you because once you say, it's a point or two difference, it's kind of like it could have gone either way, right? But I thought that Bohachuk did beat Virgil Ortiz. So to me, this could be two fighters that are really just coming off big ass wins. And then you kind of see this as a super fight at 154. So it's actually would be a great addition to that card. It could even be the co-main, and a star could be born out of that fight, right? So, and I know that coming off of the Crawford fight for Madrimov, he could have learned a whole lot from that fight. I don't see how a fighter of that caliber doesn't improve, but we'll see if the fight does happen. I hope it does because it'll be great for boxing. What do you think happens in that fight? Who wins that fight? I don't have an opinion yet. I don't know. I'll have to wait if it gets done and see how I feel, as we get closer. But let me know what you think in the comments down below about who you think will win this fight. If it does happen, you think Bohachuk will get it with his aggressiveness, or you think that Madrimov's awkward style will have the edge? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, Shakur Stevenson, right? So he's now being thrown into a pay-per-view in happenstance, right? So it wasn't to be that way. He was supposed to be the co-main of a Bivol Beterbiev, but now because of the networks, everything's split. So Bivol will be for free against Beterbiev on ESPN Plus, and now Shakur Stevenson's the headliner for his first pay-per-view, which is rumored to be at $14.99, I think. Which I think is a great price point because I think this should happen to more boxers who are trying to break into the pay-per-view market so they can have some numbers and some negotiating power. Because if the argument is always is, well, what do you bring to the table? You've really been fighting in free TV. But I think if you have a decent card and a good fighter against another good fighter, maybe they're not world elite yet, or at least one is elite and what isn't, or whatever the case may be, but you price it at $14.99, I think that could get people, obviously they could get people into the homes, right, to sit down and pay for something. But I think in this case, it'll be a rebuild phase for Shakur. One, he has to be stellar. He has to finish Cordina. He cannot let him go 12 boring rounds because that'll be a nail in the coffin, and he'll just have to take whatever anybody ever offers him to fight. So that's number one. Number two, I think no matter what he does in the fight, nobody's going to believe it going into the fight because of the performances he's given in the past, right? The last two performances have been terrible, and so I think him working with Bud now and in the little videos that you've seen where Bud is telling him, you got to work him off, not just move away. You got to fight him off. So, I think hopefully Crawford brings something out of him so that way we can see the best. I think the numbers are going to be terrible, but I think if he does a great performance, I think that'll carry over into the next time he's on pay-per-view, and then people have more interest. I, for one, don't know because Cordina, all the people who see that he got knocked out in his last fight, Cordina's not a pushover. I think he just got a raw deal in his last fight, and then coming up now in weight, that might be the only thing that in that loss mentally. Coming up in weight and a mental loss really in his last fight could be what puts Shakur over the top. But if he comes in like, I don't care what happened in the last fight, I'm coming up and taking Shakur, so it could really work in his favor, and it might be a tough out for Shakur. So it could go either way, that way, but I think Shakur pulls it out. I hope that he knocks this guy out, takes him out of there early in a stunning fashion, and then he can move on and we can have a super fight pretty soon. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think will happen in this fight? What do you hope to happen in this fight? And you think that this should be a model that should be more often applied for pay-per-view stars, especially young pay-per-view stars, like a Norman Jr., right? Who's just getting out to 20 years old, has suddenly get a name, and maybe hopefully, if he can fight on 14.99 pay-per-views, depending on how many pay-per-views he can sell, there might be, you could build a viable star that way on pay-per-view. Let me know that comes down below. What do you think? Now, back to Bivol, right, and Beterbiev. Now, this is a great fight on paper. Let me tell you why. Beterbiev is 39 years old. And Bivol, is in his prime right now. He's a great boxer, technical, good jab, good movement, good feet, can fight on the back foot, off the ropes, things like that. But Beterbiev is already flat-footed no matter what. He was never a good mover. Has a really decent jab, and of course he has immense power. But he doesn't have that one, like he hits you like Mike Tyson would. He breaks you down. Like, his punches are heavy, kind of hurts you with everything, and it kind of slows you down, and then he just tears you apart. His fight against Smith, where he destroyed Smith, was a very impressive win. But the problem is that he's 39 years old, coming off of major surgery for his leg, which I think it was Achilles, if I'm not mistaken, and it happened during camp, not even an actual fight. So it was just him training. I don't know what was happening. I don't know too much about it, but the point is, he was already flat-footed. These Achilles or knees or whatever, when it comes to the legs, they tend to rear their ugly head in a very stressful situation. And against Bivol, who is coming off of highs of highs, it could rear his ugly head. And of course, he's 39, so I don't know if they're going easy on him in training, and they're gonna rely on his power and weight cut instead of bringing him to condition. Right, 175 in condition and 175 in weight cut are two different things. So depending on which one they're doing, it could spell disaster. So I think Beterbiev's only real shot at this is in the first 5 rounds, close the distance, and just work Bivol, cut that ring off. Because if I don't see, I don't see a world where Beterbiev can outbox Bivol. I think Bivol will really work on the outside, move in, stay on the back foot, give him side-to-side angles and combinations. Bivol's not a powerful striker, but he can hurt you enough and has fast hands. And the fact that he doesn't sit down on his punches allows him to throw combinations a lot faster, keeping Beterbiev busy. And I think if he doesn't admire his work and he just kind of moves around the ring and moves on his back foot and kind of moves to the side, give him some angles, I think he can keep Beterbiev from setting. Setting and then getting his punches off, and he have to constantly reset. And I think that should be the plan, because he said it himself, Bivol did. He said, fighting him like I fought Canelo would be a mistake, because I could fight off the ropes with Canelo, because Canelo punches wide, whereas Bivol kind of just, Beterbiev, kind of holds his punches here, and he comes in kind of, tight, and his jab is sort of more laser-like, but he's flat-footed. So he's kind of like a high-level Danny Garcia. It would be interesting. I'm not saying Beterbiev doesn't have a shot. I think he does. I think he has a very good shot in the first 5. If it goes 6, 7, and 8, I think, unless he catches lightning in the bottle, I think Bivol outscores him and pulls away and wins a unanimous decision on the cards. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think Bivol gets knocked out early, gets knocked out late, or he just takes a unanimous decision? I think he took the unanimous decision based on the age and injuries on Beterbiev, but I could be wrong. But I hope it's a great fight either way, and we get a second one if they both of them show up to fight. Let me know in the comments, who do you pick, right? And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.